Hey everybody, Hugh Brownstone for Three Blind Men and an Elephant. We're here at NAB 2016 in the Sony Pavilion, and I'm here with Andy Munitz. Now, the reason why I asked Andy to join me is because in the video world, at least in the one-man band, event videography, or small indie film world, Sony generally is not considered to be an audio player. But I recently began to change my mind about that with use of the UWP. And there are some new product announcements in that space. Andy, could you take us through them?
Absolutely. So yeah, we are here at NAB 2016 and we are showing 3 new products in the UWP-D family. UWP, for those that may not know, is a packaged solution of wireless that we introduced many years ago. And UWP-D is the 3rd generation of that. And the D in UWP-D stands for DSP, or digital signal processing. So that means that we can do all of our companding in DSP, in the digital domain, and be very, very accurate about the companding schemes that we use. It also allows for calling up additional legacy companding schemes, so it can be backwards compatible with older wireless transmitters or receivers in our series. So that's really interesting.
Actually, what I'll say is really interesting is that this allows them to do a lot in a very small form factor. That's really what's interesting to me, with very high quality.
That's right. So, one of the things about UWP is it's, all solid metal construction, has very wide bandwidth, up to 72 megahertz of frequency agility, which means we can tune in about 2,772 channels in this one little battery-operated unit. It's true double tuner diversity system. I mean, the most important thing in any wireless is reliability of signal. And there are multiple schemes on the market of ways to do diversity reception to prevent dropouts, but we do it the way that we think is absolutely the best, which means that there are 2 different tuners in here, each with their own antenna, and a little comparator circuit that is constantly monitoring which one has the strongest signal, and is able to bounce back and forth noiselessly. So the challenge, to be quite honest, is fitting all that extra circuitry into a small camera mount package and keep battery life really high, and that's something that we at Sony have been able to do for years and years.
Well, what's interesting again to me is that my favorite up until very recently were the RodeLink filmmaker kits, because I actually sold off my Sennheiser units because they were just so easy. What's interesting to me is that these units are just as easy, and they're smaller.
Interesting.
And they're smaller. So that's what got me started. But let's go on, because you've got some new products here.
So here at the show, in the UWP-D family, we're introducing some new models. First of all, if you happen to have maybe a larger shoulder cam from Sony that has a slot in, we have a new 2-channel slot-in UWP-D receiver that has a direct AES EBU interface right into the camera system. And that is compatible with all of our UWP-D series transmitters, and also has that backwards compatibility through the legacy wireless. We have a new body pack that allows for a Hiroshi 4-pin connector to some of our higher-end lavaliers. So, microphones are at the very front of the chain, and they make a difference in sound. So if you want to go to that kind of a lav, you can do that with this as well. However, perhaps the most interesting product that we're showing here at the show is this guy. This is our new URX-P03D. It is a dual-channel portable wireless receiver. There are 2 complete independent channels on here. Now, that by itself is really cool because it's battery operable. But here at Sony, we certainly make a lot of camcorders, and we introduced a connection architecture a couple of years ago called multi-interface, or MI-SHU. Our cameras have it, our high-end alpha cameras have it, our pro camcorders have it, and what it means is that the back of this receiver has a special MI-SHU connection. You add this little accessory shoe, you put it on, you tighten it down.
You must tighten it down.
There are a lot of little pins going on there.
I did not know that the first time I plugged it in.
And then when you slide it onto any of our cameras that have the MI-SHU architecture, you're done. You don't even need any cables running out, because the audio goes directly down through the camera. And depending on the camera, all of our pro camcorders allow for taking the battery power from the camera and running it back up through the chute to power the receiver. And that means you don't need the batteries, and believe it or not, that makes this lighter, which makes it less front heavy.
Andy, I just want to interject that this also works with both the A6000 and the A6300.
Correct.
Some of you have seen my videos, you know that I got very excited because this was a way to get a headphone jack on these little guys.
True. Absolutely true. Now, we haven't left it there. We've done something really unique with this new 2-channel portable receiver. You know, a lot of what we listen to in video, especially when we have a 2-channel camcorder, it's all mono. Talent is mono, and maybe there's a shotgun that picks up ambient sound in mono, and it's mono, it's mono. We live in a world with 2 ears. So we have added onto this 2-channel receiver an additional input that says mic input. Right there. What is a microphone input doing on a portable receiver? Well, it means at the camera position, you can now plug in additional wired microphones. That could be as simple as a single lav if you're an off-camera kind of interviewer and you want to interview your people on camera. But you can also put in this case, a little stereo microphone because it's a stereo connector, and you can put it in here. And because there's a little mixer in here, you can make those channels be hard left, hard right, and then your 1 or 2 wireless talent can be mapped down the middle, and you can do on-camera reporting with stereo ambience captured, all folded down into 2 channels to fit into a 2-channel camera. Really, really unique.
It is unique in my experience, which I'm perfectly willing to acknowledge is limited, but it does represent a sea change over what I've seen recently. Again, I'm thinking Sennheiser and I'm thinking Rode. So really exciting, tremendous. One thing to keep in mind is that as of the last time I asked the 6300 and the 6000, and I want to again give a shout out to Jordan Drake at the Camera Store TV guys, filled me in on, is that the gain control is automatic only unless there's been a firmware update on those 2 6000 series cameras. Now, if that's still the case, then I think you have something else to show me, a very small little recorder, in which case we use the 6000 or 6300 audio as a scratch track and we record to something else.
We've been making portable audio recorders for many, many years. Many people don't even know that Sony's very first product back in 1950, do you know what it was?
I thought it was a transistor radio.
Not at all, that was 60s. In 1950, the original founders of Sony, their very first prototype was an electric rice cooker. It failed in prototype stage. So what they made next was really something. They made a reel-to-reel tape recorder, meant to be sold into schools so that musicians and performers could hear their performances back. And do you know what the name Sony comes from?
I do not.
The Latin word sonus for sound. So Sony's very first product was a reel-to-reel tape recorder. It has gone, and of course when you sell a tape recorder in 1950, guess what? It needs an input device, so we had to make a microphone, and we've been making microphones and recorders since like 1950. Now, all of these, that big machine has shrunken down into this guy. This is the ICD SX2000, whose quality literally blew that original one out of the market. But this guy is brand new. It has something exceptional about it as well. If you think about a camera, if you think about any device with an input, it's the limitation of the quality of the input that determines the quality going all the way down. So it's the microphones that really have an awful lot to do. These microphones have a target frequency response of about 40K frequency response, really, really wide. And additionally, they are aimable. So if you're doing, just close-up stereo, if you're doing more of a shotgun-y kind of thing, or if you're out in the field and you want to capture wide ambience or orchestral recording or choral recording, you can set it that way.
This is really extraordinary. I mean, Sony has always been about miniaturization, but this would shrink my bag.
And look at this. Here's your USB connector. So
that was very alien just now. I mean, popping out of the stomach. That was weird. That was really weird.
However, one of the challenges of any audio recorder is you have to place it where you want to record, and then you have to sort of guess at the record level. And you're never quite sure that what you set it at is right. So what we've done here is put a free app up on iOS and the App Store that you can put in your devices that allows you to Bluetooth pair with this guy, and at up to a distance, you can now remote control the volume, the record volume, check, 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 or you can change it back to VU meter,
I just have to interject, Andy, because this looks like a really beautiful interface, and I've been saying, encouraging Sony for a while to really develop a core competence in app development, and
there you go.
I think they're doing it. I think they're doing it.
And there's some other things remotely. You can change your, your recording format, and this records up to 9624 and can play back up to 19224 and FLAC files, and certainly all the MP3 variants. But you can also put this under track mark, and you can drop markers in the timeline that allow you in post-production editing, oh, there's a flag, something happened. It was either something important or a new topic or a question or whatever. So anyway, that's the ICD SX2000. Cool little thing, comes with a nice little case, fits in your pocket, doesn't feel plasticky, it's nice.
It slices, it dices, and if you order by midnight tonight.
It's audio, it's great stuff.
Andy, what a pleasure. It's a delight to meet you.
Absolutely.
This is really great stuff, and I'm going to get hands-on with this as soon as I can. All right.
Thanks very much.
See you again soon.
Thanks very much.
Take care, guys.